Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a health and well-being hypnosis session that was created for a client that had a stage 4 level of cancer of the lungs, but also of the lower colon. And the actual client was very pragmatic about their situation. They knew that based on statistics, they had reasonably low odds of complete recovery, but there was still a possibility. So this hypnosis session really links to two key things. One is the fact that there are variables that they can control. They can control their diet, they can control their focus, they can control the treatments that they do that involve some, let's say, non-traditional treatments like an oxygen tank chamber, for example, getting very high levels of oxygen, metabolic approaches, Wim Hof breathing strategies, all these different things that were linked to increasing the probability of a recovery. And they wanted the hypnosis to really feel that the mind-body connection was aligned with that goal. Now, the client was a pilot, and that is important for this session because you're going to hear a hypnotic session that takes this kind of 1980s, 1990s sci-fi idea. It's a concept for a couple of different movies of being shrunk down small enough to explore the body from the inside. The fact that he was a pilot meant that having a cockpit and all of the dashboards related to a cockpit was very easy for this client to imagine because they'd seen it so many times before. And then actually seeing the impact of their decisions, their choices on their body to amplify this belief or expectation of healing. And it's really important that I am very upfront here. What I am not saying is that hypnosis heals cancer. That would be a ridiculous and a reckless thing to say. But there is lots of evidence that there is a impact of suggestion and expectation on health and well-being. The client was already doing things conducive to health. What they weren't doing is sitting at home, eating processed food, watching a lot of TV, and just listening to hypnotherapy to improve their health, getting a cancer diagnosis. They were doing lots of the right things anyway. So this hypnosis session is to help them increase this level of belief and have powerful health suggestions linked to the idea of a recovery. And if you're listening to this because you just want to feel healthier, then you can still get that value. You don't need to have cancer to benefit from this hypnosis session. You would just disregard anything that relates to kind of cancer or tumors. But if you are listening to this and you do have cancer, then be aware that the hypnosis session you're about to listen to was calibrated to a specific client with a very specific background and history, and therefore not all of these suggestions are going to be relevant or suitable to you. In which case, if you feel that a bespoke hypnosis session may be valuable for you, there will be a link in the show notes, or you can visit my website, adamcox.co.uk, and you can book a free 30-minute consultation call on Zoom, and we can have a chat to see if it might be helpful for me to be a hypnotherapist working with you to create sessions tailored to your individual circumstances. For now, though, you might get some value from this session, even though it was created for someone else. So find a quiet, comfortable place, ideally in an environment where you're not going to be disturbed or interrupted. Relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in, imagine breathing in a wonderful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, allow yourself to feel a sense of release. Release of tension, stress, or worries, feeling like it's leaving your body as you exhale. And on the next inward breath, allow yourself to breathe in deeper and longer. But imagine breathing in pure oxygen. And as you exhale, imagine distilled carbon dioxide, meaning that waste and anything unnecessary is leaving your body as you breathe out. Consider this a transfusion of emotions. The powerful oxygen that you're breathing in is a vessel for the resources you need most. Breathing in what you need and exhaling anything that you don't. As you allow yourself to feel that you're becoming more and more relaxed. Feel yourself relaxing deeper and deeper, and notice what you notice. Maybe your breathing has slowed down. Maybe your breathing has got longer. Maybe you notice less tension in your neck and your shoulders. Maybe your arms or legs feel limp or loose or heavy. And maybe you notice sensations somewhere in your body. Tingles, twitches. Whatever you notice, just allow yourself to notice. As you allow yourself to drift into a state of ever-increasing relaxation. And as your body relaxes, your imagination awakens. And I wonder if you can imagine a teapot in front of you. Maybe there's something unique about this teapot. Maybe it looks old, like an antique teapot, or perhaps ornamental. But imagine the tea inside the teapot is special, perhaps brewed from a combination of knowledge and wisdom and special ingredients that enable your mind and body to forge an even stronger connection. Maybe this tea is designed for a voyage unlike any other. Perhaps a tea that unlocks access to a hidden world within you, allowing you to embark on a mission of healing, renewal, and strength. Imagine pouring the tea from the teapot into a cup. Imagine the color, the shape, the material of that cup. And as you lift the cup, maybe you could imagine the warmth of the tea coming through the material of the cup. Maybe the tea has a smell. Maybe there's a feeling of the heat coming off the tea that you can feel through the air as it gets closer to your mouth and your nose. Imagine bringing the cup closer, inhaling whatever the aroma may be. And as you take a sip, maybe you can notice a feeling this tea gives you, spreading through you. A sense of connectedness, of calm, of love or gratitude. Feel those feelings and then amplify them. Unlocking a deep knowing that this is the beginning of something extraordinary. With each sip, your body relaxes, your breath slows, and takes your imagination into something special. And maybe you could imagine yourself stepping into a small, sleek aircraft. Your aircraft. Imagine sitting there in the chair in that cockpit, getting a sense that this is your vessel, built just for you, designed for the journey ahead. And as you sit in the pilot's seat, make yourself comfortable. And imagine seeing a small pink pill. And imagine that pink pill is on the outside of the aircraft. And imagine the aircraft shrinking, microscopically small. And then imagine that your aircraft now exists within the pill. But through the screen of your aircraft, you can see someone that looks just like you, but like a giant version of you, picking up the pink pill and swallowing it. As you find yourself on a magical journey where you are now inside your own body. And now the real journey begins. As you find yourself going through the process of digestion, The pink pill takes you in, down the esophagus into the stomach. And in this state, we can collapse time. What would take minutes or hours can take place in seconds. And imagine yourself passing through the stomach, down into the intestines. Feel how strange it feels, almost like you're weightless, as you and your plane descend, carrying through the dark, warm tunnel that is this digestive system, like a cosmic portal leading into an uncharted universe. And notice what you notice on this journey inside the body. Maybe you can see an internal landscape, vast, intricate, alive. And maybe you hear the rhythmic pulse of your heartbeat, echoing like a distant drum, a guiding rhythm there in the background. And at some point, the bloodstream becomes your sky, a great flowing river of life. Red blood cells float past like slow-moving asteroids. See them carrying oxygen and vitality to every corner of your body. The currents of the lymphatic system guide you. A network of hidden pathways filled with information, protection, and training grounds for your body's defenses. Allow yourself to navigate to the lungs. Vast, expanding landscapes filled with soft, glowing light. Each inhale brings in healing oxygen, and each exhale releases that which is no longer needed. And you can make evaluations here in the lungs. Imagine seeing the positive impact of a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. See that it's been working, increasing this oxygen saturation. See those tiny tendrils with rich, life-giving energy, and see them being nurtured, rejuvenated. I want you to get a sense that your lungs are looking healthy. As you glide closer, see the oxygen molecules shimmering like tiny golden particles, seeping into the tissues, strengthening them, encouraging repair. And any old, damaged cells just dissolve, carried away effortlessly by the body's cleansing systems, while new, strong cells take their place. And if there is anything here in the lungs that you don't desire to be, see those cells being starved of what they need. imagine there is something on the cockpit which enables you to see the future. See what happens and will happen to those unwanted cells, maybe getting smaller, dissolving, dissipating. You are seeing what you would like to happen there. And then now, your plane follows the gentle currents of the bloodstream, transported down towards the lower colon. And maybe you can see evidence of past surgery, which may be a side of both challenge and triumph. But notice that healing is happening. Maybe the scar tissue formed like a protective shield, but you can see that flexibility. See blood vessels that have woven themselves into new patterns, new structures, ensuring nourishment. And the more you look, the more evidence you see of your body's resilience at work, adapting as it needs to. The more you look, you can see evidence of adaptation in a wonderfully positive way. And deeper still, a great shift is taking place. I want you to see that metabolic pathways are reorganizing. Unwanted pathways are shutting down like dimming lights, while new, powerful routes illuminate, fueling only what serves you, only what supports healing and remission. Maybe on your control panel, you can see how these metabolic pathways adjust, guided by the choices you've made. Ketogenic strategies, perhaps fasting or targeted nutrition. Processes like autophagy and ketosis, natural adaptations that accelerate healing and rejuvenation. Maybe you perceive that cancer's old fuel sources are blocked, restricted, while healthy, positive pathways thrive. From this perspective, you can see that the balance has shifted in your favor. The tide is turning. Adaptation is doing what you designed it to do. And perhaps you can imagine your radar picking up movement, your immune system launching into action. And maybe you can see lymph nodes ahead, glowing like training stations in deep space, where an organized army is being prepared. Inside, T cells are undergoing rigorous training, learning to identify and eliminate cancer cells with laser precision. And from your cockpit, you can see the immunotherapy vaccine at work. See it activating, enhancing, directing. Observe as a vast network of T cells mobilizes patrolling through the lymphatic highways. But this time, they can seek out any remaining cancerous cells that were invisible to them before, but now they can detect them. They can see them now. And as you watch, the process unfolds before you. Observe the surveillance. The T cells scan the landscape, identifying threats. Maybe you can observe a cytotoxic attack as they lock onto targets, delivering precise, effective strikes. And then the elimination and cleanup, as macrophages sweep through, clearing away the debris, ensuring no trace remains. But not just that. These T cells aren't just being trained, they remember. Observe the immune memory formation. It's not just responding, it's learning, adapting, preparing for long-term protection. Isn't that what remission is? Not just removing these cells, but learning how to deal with them so that if they ever return, they know how to manage the issue when it's small. And from your seat, you observe and guide it all, adjusting the controls, fine-tuning the response. And then imagine a dial on your dashboard glows, labeled Healing Acceleration. And as you turn it gently, you feel the shift. A deep sensation of progress, of momentum building toward complete recovery. The T cells are just like Goldilocks. Not too many, not too few, just the right amount to do what is necessary for healing. Feel a sense of being in awe in your body's ability to adapt, to heal, to learn. I want you to get a sense of feeling grateful, not just for your body's ability to adapt and heal, but even for the cancer cells. As it occurs to you, they have given you something profound, perhaps even positive. Get a sense that they've given you something, a gift in some way, but they have now served their purpose. And as such, they can now leave your body, not needing to return, because they have served their purpose. And as you process that, imagine your future, perhaps a year or two from now. What will life be like after all the healing has taken place? And lock on to one thought that feels compelling, so desirable. It feels like it's now the future destination in your navigation. And if you're clear on that future destination, Imagine setting autopilot to take you to that destination, trusting that your body now knows what it needs to do to take you to that place. Which now means we can leave. Observing the progress, trusting the process, and feeling a sense that your body is now locked in to a future that is desirable for you. So as your mission nears completion, it's time to leave. As you feel the journey has been positive and profound, but this healing energy, this transformation, the process inside your body will remain long after you leave. You've just observed something that is now happening on autopilot all by itself. So feel that your plane begins the process of leaving the body through those lymphatic currents, through the bloodstream, and towards the surface world. And maybe you could imagine leaving through the respiratory system in an outward breath. The pink pill has long dissolved, but now the plane is on the outside of your body as you see yourself like you're someone else, and then just take the plane far enough away. Imagine leaving the plane, and then imagine expanding back to full size and merging both parts of you into one, feeling a sense of connectedness. You are now the observed and the observer in one. And very soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken with a sense of positivity, optimism, feeling that you are on a pathway, a journey to a future destination that is wonderfully desirable. And you will bring this healing energy with you, stronger, renewed, and aligned with your path and processes of health and healing. It's time to awaken, so take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, start to calibrate into the here and now as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.